The story opens with Tolu Shu, a young orphan. He is not the typical orphan instead, he is a metahuman who is adjusting to the changes taking place in both himself and the environment. He sets out on a quest with his gorgeous little sister Lu Xiaoyu, as the magical era begins in order to advance. In the middle of the night, as it is thundering outside, a woman is spotted carrying a baby. She hides somewhere and lulls her baby to sleep since there are men around who have a dubious appearance. She says that she is unable to go back home. Fortunately, a generous woman offers to house her for the night so that the baby can stay with her. The mother gives the woman her kid while announcing that she was going to get some medicine, and the woman is never seen again. Almost 18 years pass in a significant amount of time. Our main character, Lu Shu, is introduced as he hangs out with a girl who seems to be his sister as some sort of Chinese celebration is taking place. To see a show, they both depart. The performer's fire is mysteriously absorbed by Lu Shu after he makes his way to the front. He temporarily teleports to another realm before coming back. It seems like nobody noticed anything. It is noteworthy that he is sporting the same pendant as the baby from the opening scene, though. After the performance, Lu Shu is perplexed about the performer and his skills. His sister is interested in meeting the performers in order for them to pick up fire talents from him and try to profit from it. They examine a crime scene while skulking in the shadows. The entertainer is hit with a tranquilizer. Lu Shu and his sister become frightened and are captured. Lu Shu is dubious when the agents say that they are questioning the performer because the actors was not approved. We were looking for the restroom, he says, and the agents let them go as soon as they reach the outside. They are contacted by Zhe Wei, an enigma, who wants to know what transpired backstage. He is ignored by Lu Shu as he passes by, as if he doesn't exist. He analyzes the entire episode and concludes that the firemen used supernatural abilities, which infuriated a particular group. Lu Shu attempts to make sense of what is happening, but Shu cuts him off. They are not related because she appears to have escaped from an orphanage and is currently residing with Lu Shu. The news reports that superhumans are spreading throughout the world. Lu Shu goes outside in the meantime to get some instant noodles for a whiny Xiaoyu on his way. He remembers how Xiaoyu were always there for him when he was growing up in the orphanage. Absorbed in his thoughts, his mother's lullabies begin to play as he is struck by the truck and left bleeding on the highway. His necklace glows, and his body floats in the air. His entire body experiences a surge of power, and he awakens as if nothing had happened. He doesn't experience any discomfort and considers acquiring superpowers or something. He then nonchalantly enters the grocery shop while sporting a bloody face, where he learns that every time he makes another person feel bad, his score increases as if he were playing an RPG. He hands the noodle to you before going into the shower. He is transported to a strange universe by a menu page that appears before his eyes. He understands he has actually struck the jackpot when the lullaby begins to play once more. Later that evening, he finds out that someone started a fire in the heart of the city. On impulse, he leaves the house and runs into some men in black. He knows he is on their radar now that he has talents, which is why he is terrified. He is fortunate enough to be intelligent enough to know how to pose as stupid. Like before, his justification holds water. Once inside, Lu Shu questions why, as if he can sense those guys returning home. His senses led him to the rooftop where those guys were headed. Do you still deny that Lu's sneaker possesses any superpowers in his room? He purchases another thing that appears to be some kind of spiritual force that he swallows while he wonders why the scores he has acquired thus far have not served as evidence of his ability. It travels into a different universe as usual and then returns. After discovering that he can raise his entire bed with only one hand after testing out a new skill, he becomes determined to rack up more points. Lu Shu makes money the following day by selling eggs. His classmates show there and start nagging him about needing to work to survive. Lu Shu, however, has mastered the art of upsetting other people. This is the moment he spots Chao, a girl in the classroom who instantly makes his heart skip a beat. Superhumans are a hot topic at the moment. Lu Shu discovers that these awakened individuals are classified by ranks, and that Lu Shu is currently at rank F, but, as long as he can score more points, he could care less about rankings. They unexpectedly learn that 7th grader, Li Qi has developed superpowers. He and the teacher got into a fight, and now he's on the roof, threatening to demote a professor for his quick thinking and intelligence. Li Qi is diverted by Lu Shu, as the police brought the unfortunate staff member back to class. As with everyone else, Lu Shu is compelled to provide a blood sample, but he is unsure of its intended use. We learn that blood tests were taken to determine which pupils were woken the next day at school. The same agent who tranquilized the firechild will instruct them in a special classroom with a special teacher. Everyone is startled to learn Lu Shu's name is on it when the names of the students are released. The bully of Lu Shu and the Chow girl are also included. On the list are also Lu Shu's bullies. In the climactic climax, we witness an unidentified cloaked supernatural figure defeat an entire clan in a titanic battle. A new classmate named Ju is introduced at the start of the upcoming episode. Ju is a student in the exclusive class created just for the awakened. He sits down next to Lu Shu. Chef Fei, the instructor of the special session, teaches about unusual compounds. It turns out that the visitor knows a lot about paranormal events. Shi Fei reveals that a chemical can be used to evaluate students' ability. Superpower quality increases with chemical opacity. There are a total of 6 quality requirements, he says. The category each student belongs in will be made known tomorrow. He also claims that users can advance in status at home with just a little bit of effort and low-quality talent. The game reveals that Lu Shu has used too many purification fruits, so they will no longer appear in the draw. Lu Shu wonders if the quality of his ability will be low because he had eaten the purification fruit. Instead, he receives a rotten tofu that he is determined to draw. He spins and eventually, by accident, slips into Shao utilizes consciousness and an object emerges in Lu Shu's hands along with a peculiar black aura. She enters a mysterious star plane, unlike the one we visited with Lu Shu, much like Lu Shu did. She regains consciousness and declares that she has been awakened. Lu Shu dreams that one day his talent will bring him money or something more satisfying than rotten food. He begins narrating the offensive tofu. Even though some people dislike the tofu's smell, it still benefits Lu Shu because their negative feelings increase his score points, which he can then use to purchase more tofu to sell. His game rewards him by tripling the income of the Lu Shu. He really is a genius. He takes pleasure in his business success during the coming several weeks. He eventually returns to his star dimension, summons a mystical weapon, and delivers it to Earth. There are a total of 7 star levels to accomplish, and it appears that he has already passed the first one. While this is going on, Xiao Fei is teaching the pupils a brand new technique called the Union of Two Aspects, which allows them to harness tremendous strength with the aid of some spiritual stones. The following day, the old guy makes another attempt to attract Lu Shu by demonstrating his impressive swordsmanship, but Lu Shu wasn't interested during lunch. Zhang tells Lu Shu about Tian Luo Foundation, which is home to some of the nation's toughest citizens from a certain region. It seems as though they are preparing a trap for the Woken. That evening, Lu Shu feels an odd presence. A few individuals show up in front of the old swordsman's home. The old guy is approached by a boy who appears to be a member of the Tian Luo Di Wang group, and who wants to enlist him. Because of his exceptional talent, the old man politely rejects the offer, referring to Tian Luo as just a group of conquerors. The boy walks away clearly threatening after this response. He notices Lu Shu peeping from the window as he is leaving but decides to ignore it. Lu Shu accepts to train with the old man after learning that he is friendly with some of the really powerful men. Surprisingly, they both get along well right away. Everyone learns that additional recently awakened people are banding together to commit crimes the next day. The popular girl even in the special class, Chow, is the subject of Lu Shu's swift glances. The old man offers to instruct Xiao Yu because of high-caliber qualities if he trains Lu Shu. He brings some weights for Lu Shu to use going forward in order to begin his correct training. Lu Shu wonders why he needs to train so much when one of the Dao Youth class magical skills can actually boost strength. According to the elderly man, Shi Shu Jin is the name of the individual who invented these methods. He knows everything there is to know about superpowers. The old guy says that when it comes to studying swordsmanship, he can't hunt for fast fixes while Lu Shu drifts off, wondering who Shi Shu Jin is. He gives Lu Shu the order to put on the 300-kilogram lightest weights. The weights are thrown into the air by Lu Shu, who remarks that they are too light. Lu Shu indicates that the old man has already awoke in reaction to his astonished expression. After giving it some thought, the elderly guy takes a piece of paper off the table. He transforms the paper into something sharper than a sword by using his superpowers on it. This paper's force destroys an entire wall. Then he requests Lu Shu perform the identical air attack on his own. All of his might. Lu Shu uses all of his strength but repeatedly fails. He practices till he masters it. After a long day of training, the elderly man attempts to convince Lu Shu to pledge that if he ever reaches superhuman strength, he will be accountable for it and put it to good use. Lu Shu declines, saying that his main duty is to stay alive and take care of himself and Xiaoyu. He is advised to reconsider by the old man. Nonetheless, we learn more of Lu Shu's character. He has never been unhappy, despite all the challenges he faced growing up. He simply doesn't want to take on more duties. The following day, without Lu Shu, a strange man shows up. This is the same, identically strong individual who the elderly man had described to Lu Shu during the training. Shi Shu Jin will say something stupid that irritates the unexpected visitor. As his star plane has been in contact with her, Lu Shu has noticed that his score has gone up, as he begins to run home after feeling danger. Jin remarks that Lu Shu is too frail to be the old man's student then. Before departing, Shi Shu Jin reminds the elderly man of Tian Lu's invitation to join the group. Later, the elderly guy delivers Lu Shu the necessary chemical and requests that he verify his power level once more. As Lu Shu runs the tests, he discovers that the set of instructions does not include his power level color. Lu Shu only knows that it symbolizes his star's primary color. He attempts to ignore the test results at night and assures the elderly guy that he is still operating at a low level. While you pass the first stellar level, he moves on to the second stellar level and unlocks ultra defenses. While they are eating dinner, it is revealed that she has the ability to summon dead animals despite her star plane nearly taking over. Lu Shu and Xiaoyu exit the house to investigate the situation as the three bandits begin to cause mayhem once more. They observe a trio of awakened criminals tenaciously repelling several Tian Luo organization members. The latter is successful in circling the offenders, and the cops show there shortly after. As soon as Lu Shu realized how dangerous the situation was, he sent Xiaoyu home. Then, as he approaches the crime site while hiding behind a veil, he sees the gang's hulking leader actually dragging his accomplices out of the building. However, a Tian Luo member casts a blood spell to make him motionless, but it is ineffective. Eventually Lu Shu finds himself arguing with the big guy as his sneaker gets caught in the crossfire. He simply breaks the latter's bones with the sword he has summoned from his starship. As a result, later that evening when he takes Xiaoyu out to test her abilities, she is successful in drawing energy from the same deceased offender. To find out who Lu Shu is, Tian Luo has set up a meeting in the interim. They assert that he is at least at sea level, so they will give him top priority wherever he may be. They have no idea that this expert who has woken up at sea level is selling rotten tofu and making money by irritating people. The villain materializes the energy of the offender into a real-life person that scares Lu Shu. She asserts that in addition to having control over his physical being, she can also access his memories. He must have buried a sizable chunk of money in the neighboring mountains before passing away, and Xiaoyu want to go look for it. Lu Shu declines to support her scheme. She attempts to influence him emotionally, yet she performs poorly in class. Lu Shu learns of the arrival of the Spirit Stones and the departure of their director. Director Li and Lu Shu seem to be familiar with the new director, who appears to be a B-level Tian Lu member. Both of them pick up on something in the crowd, but the former decides to ignore it. He meets with the students who have become awakened after that to remind them of their future obligations and the spiritual stones. Then he uses the case of the unidentified man who killed a D-level criminal without realizing the man was standing right in front of him to illustrate his point. 2 spiritual stones are later given to Lu Shu, who intends to sell them. Because he believes the strange sea-level man is a member of his group because he can wield a blade, Director Li meets the elderly man. He informs them that several skeletons from the ruins have somehow come to life. The school invites the awakened students to tour the ruins and assess the situation in episode 7, giving them experience. Lu Shu annoys people all day and trains in his star plane at night. When his classmate finally challenges him to an arm fight, he promptly loses. Skeletons are about to show up, as evidenced by the beginning of mist coming from the mountaintops. The skeleton will vanish, it is revealed, if someone acquires something called the Eye Matrix. Lu Shu and Zhang Shu become separated in the thick of the turmoil as everyone begins to run downhill, and Lu Shu is the only one with the fortitude to stand up straight and slice the skeletons. In order to make a bargain with the monsters, he stays behind and orders them to leave his environment as quickly as possible. While taking down targets left and right Lu Shu discovers a flare that was shot down by a foreign student who Lu Shu suspects as a spy. Day Spies is here to steal the valuables from the ruin, proving his suspicions to be correct. But soon after, a swarm of skeletons attacks them, and they both flee for their life. To get some points, Lu's shoes continue to irritate the spy. They manage to flee, but they struggle to trust one another. The spy searches for covert exits, but Lu's shoe stops him. While refueling with food from the gacha game, he offers the rotten soup to the spy kid, which drives the final nail in the coffin and unexpectedly sparks an epic duel. The spy kid starts bleeding after Lu Shu launches an attack he has never launched before. After that, he departs and spends days wandering the ruins, finding fruits that he saves for later and fending off nocturnal creatures. He keeps running till he meets up with his fellow students, who address him as their master because he is the most powerful. By refusing to offer them any of the fruits he had collected along the route, Lu takes advantage of the situation. In his pursuit for the Eye Matrix, Lu Shu comes across a skeleton riding a horse. He engages it in combat using only his hands while stealing its lengthy spear. Tian Luo notices a group of skeletons traveling in a caravan. They come to the conclusion that killing their leader will destabilize the opposition, but their commander appears to have misplaced the weapon Lu Shu had stolen. When Tian Luo struggles to come up with a plan, Lu Shu unexpectedly enters the scene holding the spear and surprising everyone. He continues to steal their guns as if it were nothing. Tian Luo thinks of forcing him to join their group. As greedy as he is, Lu Shu starts selling firearms in exchange for money and jewelry. Later that night, they come across unidentified creatures that seem to be made of dark energy. This causes the sword to be activated inside Lu Shu's realm, but he is unable to remove it. The team eventually makes it to the center of the ruins, where Lu Shu encounters the head of the group, who looks to call forth his sword with ease and could, to the typical person, cause blood flow. Director Lee will soon show up with fruit for everyone. The following morning, as planned, they will investigate the trench in the core, but that evening a group of spies departs to locate the Eye Matrix on their own. The commotion forces Director Lee to show his full might. To Lu Shu's surprise, the former asserts that everything happened as part of his strategy to reveal the spies. The group then descends into the earth to locate the Eye Matrix before the adversary does. Yet all the spies seem to be dead when they get to the bottom. At that point, they are once more attacked by the same black energy entities. The spies' souls and energies were transferred to one person who is now extremely powerful and invisible, it is revealed. It appears that Lu Shu is the only one who knows where he is. Lucia flees the ghost as further things attack her. The energies Lu Shu absorbed an earlier counterattack when Spy attempted to strike him. Lu Shu steals more weapons while everyone is busy fighting. When a skeleton tries to stop him from touching a particular seal, he is about to do so. Everyone turns to dust and is restored back to Earth as soon as he touches it. Unfortunately, Lu Shu is nowhere to be seen among his peers, and the bully even begins to grieve his passing before he enters wearing sparkling jewelry. He examines the seal he had taken from the realm before returning home to make amends with Xiao Yu. In the meantime, Tian Lu is baffled as to who took the Eye Matrix, also known as the seal. Also, they want to hire Luke and Xiao because of their outstanding performance. As Xiao Yu has always desired owning a home since their days in an orphanage, Luke Shu hopes to purchase one now that things have finally back to normal. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for other exciting episodes of your favorite anime. Until next time, goodbye.